when executing our work on commerce. So we need to take we need to also look at that. So before we start, I think for those of us who have been here, we know ourselves. Among us, you can see that we have another big brother. Okay. So we would like to take a very short introduction so that we know ourselves. Meanwhile, we have here as our brother. Around that. Around that. Yes. So if I don't have light in my house, does it also affect your eyes? Because I live around that.
Uh, Depending, I think there are two different transformers.
So I want to believe that as you continue with us, you are going to see the need why you should continue. Even though I understand how this thing can be sometimes. It can be funny. Maybe the way you expected it to have it, that's not how it's going to be. Right? But it's something very interesting. Once you pick interest in it, you will find yourself always doing it unconsciously. You find yourself doing it because it is a way of contributing to the society and to also preserving knowledge. So I don't know what language you speak.
I speak Ham. I am Hausa, English,
Oh, that's good. That's
basically.
good. Beautiful. So we just started the Wikipedia project
Okay.
last week. So yes, so we have quite a number of the young people who are currently contributing. So which you are going on now, maybe after today's session, we will be subsequently we will incorporate you into that one so that we can also see that we can be adding your own content to the development of that project. It is very important because it is good for other languages to also have be reading the Wikipedia in their own local language. Like Tyap language, I believe you know Tyap.
Of course, that's
Yeah, that's what other people.
that's what other people are.
Which is an insult.
Yes.
But the correct one is Tiap.
It's Tyap. So, so Tyap is a language and a Tyap is a people, right? Yes. So we also have our own Wikipedia. So you can read the Wikipedia in Tyap language. Courtesy of what we are doing here. So, so we hope that as we make progress, we are going to see how we can work together. But first and first, we have quite a number of things that, as you are just joining us today, it will be important for you to catch up from where other people have started. So maybe, first of all, you first have to create an account. You have a Wikimedia account for you to make any contribution, which I believe you have my approach. But if you didn't, I will know how to do it. I will do it. Because he's supposed to know how to do that. So and he's supposed to create the account for you. So where you have now will be your personal ticket for now. Where there is a problem, then you can reach out to the office. Yes. So that's why we also know what he has learned. If he's learning or if he's not learning. So that's why we catch him. So this is a perfect way to catch him. So he'll be your personal tutor, he'll create the account for you and he'll introduce you to the mentoring interface where we are going to roll out everything that's where we have started. So you take him through the module, you have to go through the modules, finish the modules, so that there it will prepare him for what is to come. Right? So you get to have a glimpse of what's happening. So we take it step by step. You are looking at me, I'm talking, you are looking at me. Okay. I'm getting what you're doing. I'm with you. So, so thank you very much. I think that is that. And again, the office is always open. Oh. Monday to Friday, unless maybe we are not traveling, because sometimes we do travel for outreaches. Oh. If you are not if you are not traveling, then the office is always open. From 9 to 4 p.m. you always see somebody. No, from 10, just say 10 to 4 p.m. you always see somebody. So you can just breeze by in case you have a challenge. You can just come by. This is always an open, nice, a welcoming place for you. Always. I can see. Yeah. So thank you very much. So today, as I said, we'll be looking at the Wikimedia Commons. And you know, okay. All right. So you just watch your head. Maybe is it okay to switch here? Just move this. All right. So we'll be looking at the Wikimedia Commons today. And before we go into the practical program, we'd like to look at some features. So we have access to, we believe we all know how to access that. So you can just go to the Wikimedia commons.wikimedia.org on your interface. You go to commons, right? Yep. Wikimedia.org. So here you right channel to accessing it. This one, the right link to accessing the Wikimedia pages. So to bring you to the interface here, I believe some of us, okay. All right. So I'll take this section again. Once you come to your prompts, right? So first thing, I know some of us have our own shortcut of accessing prompts, but this is how you can also access it. So you go to um, commons, right? Dot wikimedia dot org. O-R-G. Commons dot wikimedia dot org. Unix is provide book command. So once you are here, you are going to the interface. This is the interface, our normal interface. We are all familiar with this interface. But what some of us are not familiar with is the rules of engagement as far as commerce is concerned. Some of us just know directly how to upload. But there are also rules that is very important for us to know. And just so you know, the Commons is, is a repository of multimedias, right? Where we go there, we upload our images, our videos, our sound. It is also a Wikimedia project, just like Wikipedia. So Commons is an area of Wikimedia where you upload images, multimedia files. No, don't give him his own language. Go and look for our office. No, no, this one is there. Don't give him here. It's not there yet. Look for something like this. Check there. Among our place, you see. Look among those ones. So just so you know, that program was very awesome.
That's
Yes.
great. That's great.
So the Commons is a repository of all form of multimedia. Where we go there, we upload most of our multimedia, which includes images, videos, sound, even 3D model designs, right? We upload them on Wikimedia Commons so that people go there to access them for free. Also remember that anything that is being uploaded to Wikimedia Commons is under free license, which means everybody can go there, pick whatsoever image, whatsoever video you have uploaded, and use it the way they want. Which is why it is not, to some level it is sensitive. It is not everything we upload on Wikimedia Commons. Things that you know that are sensitive. You don't just go there and start uploading your new relationship. I'm sorry. You just go and start uploading things that are sensitive, right? So you upload things that are also relevant to the project, things that are relevant to the activities of the Wikimedia Foundation, things that you know that people might need this to promote their work in one way or the other. All right. So those are the things that we should take seriously when it comes to the uploads. You don't just go there because you see things on the road, you just snap and upload. Ask yourself first, does this make sense? Can somebody use this, especially the journalists, the okay, the journalists and the graphic designers? We have a lot of people who go there to access a lot of information, a lot of files to use for today. So the foundation now for this project is to make sure that those things are provided and are always readily available for people to use. And again, it is also important for you to know that there is nothing that is useless. What you might seem as useless, some persons are looking for it somewhere else. All right. So we have different campaigns as far as the Wikimedia Commons is concerned, where people go out of photo walk, snap images about their culture, about places, businesses, monuments, important sites. Right? You upload those things on Wikimedia Commons. So they are also important things. So like our gardening here, you might see that our gardening might not be important, but it is important. There are people who are looking for a setup where people are just sitting down discussing like this. So by the time you snap this garden and upload, somebody will use it. The idea now is to make things easier for people, to make knowledge accessible to everyone all over the world. That's the whole idea. It's not for you to have because you have a certain advantage and then you decide to hide it from people. No. And it's also an avenue for you to showcase what you have and who you are. Because there are a whole lot of people now that are just there in the shadows. They are not known, but they are there. So it is the duty of Wikimedians to go out there, look for those things, snap them, and upload them to Wikimedia. So these are some of the basic things. And while we are doing this, I mentioned monuments. So when we mention monument, we are talking about things of of like vintage items, like old items, maybe building, statues, important site, historical site. Those are monuments. But now we have been running those programs since 2021, no problem. But recently now they have introduced a law called the Freedom of Panorama. in Nigeria here, and maybe in some part of Africa, maybe globally, other regions. So that law is affecting activities of Wikimedians, especially when it has to do with comments, snapping images and uploading. So you can't just go and look because you see a fine building and you snap it and upload it to Wikimedia Commons. So if you are not careful and you don't know whether that building is under free licenses or not, you go and snap the wrong building and upload it. And meanwhile, if that building is under the freedom of panorama, which means the building is protected under a law, and that law is not under free license. All right, so we cannot snap that building and upload it because it's protected. So that is what that law is doing. And this year, currently now, I think the Wikiloc Monument campaign is ongoing. But I don't think anybody in Nigeria here is currently participating because of that law. Because we don't want somebody to go and make the mistake of snapping fine building, especially those monument buildings. Like, let's say, for example, like 10-story building. We know it's a very, very historical building in Kaduna. For those of us who know 10-story building, you can't just go because that building looks fine and just snap it and upload. That building is under freedom of panorama. So it is being protected. Alright? It is being protected. You cannot snap that one and upload. It is being protected. Especially government, most of the government have public buildings now. I don't know what is wrong with this country. I don't know what is just wrong. So most of those buildings are protected. But there are exceptions. For those who are above like 75 years and above, 75 years and old and above, buildings, statues, historical sites, you can snap those ones out of there. But for these ones who we are seeing, some of them are under the freedom of panorama, especially government-owned properties. So you can go to to that 10-story building and snap, and somebody will tell you this building is being protected. You can go to maybe let's say this Kasumba building in town, right? We all know it. Former Kasumba building. You can snap in and upload, and you discover that that building is under freedom of panorama.
Then how do you discover any building under protection?
Yeah, most of the time you have to, especially those ones, most of the government buildings, it is important for you to acquire, to look. Either you Google it on the web to find out if this building is under license, if it is under protection, you will know so that you can upload it. But now, currently now, there is a advocacy going on how they can lift this freedom of panorama here in Nigeria so that people can Wikimedians can have their activities done without any problem. So most of the buildings, that's why the issue of monuments is being suspended for now in Nigeria. Monuments. When we say monument, these are historical sites, right? Historical buildings. It's being suspended for now. So we don't go snapping historical sites. Everything is gonna be alright. As it has always been. As it has always been. So we don't have issue with that. The only issue now is for us to take note of monuments, monumental building, monuments. So those are the areas we will be looking at. And again, what other things? So I think that's just one of the things that we need to take note of. But any other things, we are free to carry on our own. We are free to carry on. And you see, like I think this thing is mostly on buildings, mostly on buildings, buildings. But bridge too can be a monument, right? Like these old ones, they can be monuments. So you can snap those things, and snap those things out. So that is the angle where we're looking at it. So just to create this awareness for us to know that it is not everything that looks snappable that should be snapped. Some buildings attach Yeah, because for us Wikimedians, our eyes are always open, looking for good things to snap. But when it comes to building, especially government, all these old government buildings, we should try, if you snap it, if you can take the hit, go and check the licensing. If it's under free licensing, you check. But if you cannot take the hit, just avoid them. But other minor plazas, just to create publicity about our environment, you can go ahead and do them. You can go ahead and do them. So after all, we are helping their businesses. We are helping their businesses. All those plazas, schools, places of worship. You can go ahead and publicize it and upload them to this. So we'll be looking at, and also when uploading images, there are things that we are not um, taking notice of, which is also very important. And we'll be looking at them today and to see how we can take notice of those things going forward. Whenever we are putting categories on our images. Alright? So I'll just hand over the mic to my colleague here, my co-pilot, Dorcas. So she will take us through some of the practical ways, even though it's something we are familiar with. But for some people joining us online or who would like to go over the video, this might be their first time. Alright? And even for our brother here, this might be his first time of seeing how these things are done. So there are step-by-step way to upload images on Wikimedia Commons. So since you are just joining us today, maybe it will be your first assignment. Just look at the steps how these things are being uploaded. By the time you created your account, then you can begin from there. Yeah. Okay. So let me just give you this program. Yeah. So you have to change it. Not to just be ignorant. So just is a link in the family. They're very small. Scroll down and down to the last. Then, very slowly. And it's also the sound of the Bible. Sorry. When you usually use them, live streaming is on. So you share it. Share it. Share it.
Wiki Commons. Since we are going straight to the practical.
How do you access it? Start from there.
Okay, enter Wiki Commons. Wikimedia Commons.
So you install that stuff.
Have we all entered? Let's do it together. Everybody's there. They're having this surface. Okay. So is your name appearing at the top here?
I've not created yet.
Okay, it's not created yet. Okay, so it will not appear. Alright.
One line is
So we'll just go straight to the upload. We'll go to the upload here. Everybody's having this office.
or you come back.
I should come back. This blue upload here. Okay. Please turn your desktop, your phone, mobile phone to desktop view. Down, down. You've turned your. So we can continue, right? Brother, you are here. Okay, so let's select. Hope we all have image that we can upload. Image that I've not uploaded on any social media before. You can snap anything now and so that you have. Yes, you can snap anything now like this. If you don't have any picture before, maybe the one you've uploaded on Facebook, Instagram, you cannot use it again. Shall we? So let's go to select image, media file. Everybody's here. You select. So since you've selected one, you can still add more to the image you selected. So you can go to add more files. Hello, add more files and add. But you have to make sure it's the same picture, it's the same type of picture so that the naming will be easy. Easy. So click on continue. Everybody is here. Okay. Really continue. So it's asking us a question here that all media uploads to Wikimedia Commons are free for anyone to use and share anywhere on internet or off internet. To ensure the work you upload are copyright free, please provide the following information. It's not asking these works were created by me and anyone is free to use them. The second one says these works are created by someone else. They are free to share. Since this is my work, I'll click the first one. And after I click the first one, since it's you that created it, it still bring another question. Are you are this entirely your own work? You say the first one say these works are entirely created by me. These works contain the work of others. I generated this work using an artificial intelligence tool. So since it's my own, I'll click the first one. These works are entirely created by me. Then another question again. This when it comes to the free license time. What license do you want to publish this work under? So we have number one here, Creative Commons CC0. We have Creative Commons Attribution. We have Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike, and that's the one we use. The third one. Then you go to next. For someone that have not uploaded on Common before, they will show you a caption. Like I'm sure everybody here have uploaded before. It's only him that have not uploaded that they will show him the caption to continue. So for us to name this image now, this is Indian spinach, but we can call it's water leaf. We know it as water leaf here, but this is big water leaf. So your title now will be Indian spinach. Then for the caption, you can still copy the same thing here on the caption. Indian. Okay. Since you've done that, it's now asking you to select the date you snap it. So for me to select the date, I snapped it today, so I'm going to pick 3rd of October. But some comes with the date automatic. For this main subject visible is optional. It's showing optional, so you can just ignore it if you don't know what to call it. But you can check online for the botanical name and all of that. Then for the category, I don't know if mentor me has been added here. So the category now we'll put for the category Tyap Wikimedia, Tyap Wikimedians User Group. Okay. is impacting you. Okay, okay. Okay. So I've added the category already. Yes. Okay, for the category, Tyap Wikimedia User Group slash mentor me. Okay, sorry. The plant or the spinach. So that when somebody is checking for spinach, they will it will take them to this one. When they are checking for the plant, it will still take them to this one too. For the longitude, no need because my phone did not. It's optional. Since they are the same picture I uploaded, there's no need of me typing the same title, the same caption again. I'll just copy the information and to enter all the other ones that are there. Copy. You can see that it's already appearing here. So I'll just go ahead and publish the file. Okay, this one is still requesting for the date. And the work is done. You can just check it on Wiki Commons and you see it there. You can also upload videos and audios. But first, before you do that, you have to convert it before doing that. So let's try more or we're okay with it or any question. No question? Okay.
Uh, you skip this next subject visible.
Which one?
Like so the following category. Okay, so under main subject. So remember, now you can just see pictures. The main subject now, for example, I'm snapping you. But these people now, the lights are there, because the whole thing are there. But what I'm focusing on is you. So you are the main subject. Alright, so that is what you do under main subject. So basically, not the noise. Other things are the noise. But you, the main thing, you are the main subject. So any other thing around is not.
So we're okay. Has anybody uploaded anything? Uploaded. So no question.
How do you add after writing the media that
Slash
so how did you okay
slash mention.
yes, how did you add the brand?
Just just type under. Just type it. The same place. Just type it.
So, from what we have seen now, I believe we have learned something new. For some of us, we have learned something new. Because it is also important for us to identify these weaknesses and see how we can tackle them. All right. So maybe I will just have the image uploaded. It's just showing one particular. So let me try to see how we can upload a little bit complicated image. We have some images that are more complicated than others. So let me look at because on my computer I want to share all of this. So let me pass to this side so that we yeah, stop sharing. So thank you very much, Lucas. All right. So from here again, let us see how we can also work on some images that are more complicated. So let me just share my screen. You see, our image doesn't have other distractions. It's just straight image. So, okay, just as you took us through the steps on how to get to the Wikimedia Commons. Um, the steps again, for those of us who are just joining us newly online, just go to Google Chrome and type commons dot wikimedia wikimedia.org. You want to enter to bring us to this interface. Now, the interface, we have two different forms of interface. We have the mobile view and the desktop view, right? So this one is what you are seeing on the screen right now is called the mobile view. For those of us who are using the mobile phone, once you log in, this is how you are going to see it exactly as but for some of us who are using computer, it's going to appear a little bit different. It will appear like this if you are using computer. But if you are not using computer, it will not appear like this. You have to change it. But regardless of how you are using it, it will still serve the same function. The same function. First, as a Wikimedia, once you log in, the first thing you need to check is if your username appears there. If you are logged in. If you are not logged in, that's the first thing you should do. Because for every contribution you make, it's counting for you. It's reading that okay, so person makes so contribution solely. But if you do not log in, there's no way you can be traced that okay, it's so person that did the work. Alright? Because every contribution is also part of what builds our our expertise and our technical know-how on how to navigate the whole interface. But if we are not logged in, there's no way we can check all those things. So it's important for us to check that first. So after checking all those things, then for those who are joining newly, we just read through the rules of engagement, the policies, what we need to know as it concerns the edit. Now, if you come here now under, if you scroll down, you see participating. Under participating, you see some highlights down here. Please use the search box at the top of the page or the link to the right. Feel free to subscribe to our syndicated feeds. So all of these are just way to provide guidance, additional guide on how to go about this thing freely. Now using, now this one, the browsing is there. Now using, to fulfill the free license requirement, please read the reviews guide. You can also use request define. So all of these are there. These are policies that we can also go on our own, study them and also know them. Identifying have a browse tree, category, identifies subject. If you have if you have found something you can identify, adjust the file category and the pick statement in structured data. Now, what this is saying is some files, for some of us who have been making those mistakes of just identify without putting the main subject category. The main subject category. So for example, you snag the school. The subject of that image is a school. Additional category is a school. You just like you put it under school. The subcategory is school. So you add it there as part of the category. Alright? So some of us will just that's what we are doing. So today we are getting where we are and to see how we can do it differently and in a better way. Not just sticking to one format. There are other ways to do it and to do it better. You know, when we started from primary one. So that primary one, when we are taught in primary one, A for ball, that is why all of us are in grade 6. But now we are trying to see how we can put ball together to form a sentence, right? So that it will make sense. And that's what we are here to do. So all of these are other ways to contribute. So creating, check out all you need to know about creating your own work. So it's a step-by-step guidance. This one will provide the guidance on how to go about creating your own work. Now, under here, now we also have discussion page in case you have an issue, you want to discuss, you want to talk about it, the discussion page is also open. So let's look at this creating first because that's where a lot of us have been having some little issue. So let's click here. Remember how I got this one? So from the top here, just scroll down. Once you scroll down, you see participating. So under the participating, just scroll down, you see creating, you see browsing, using, identifying, creating. So under the creating, there's a hyperlink here. There's a link here. So just click on that link to take you here. Sorry?
Under creative.
Yes, under creating. You should check out all you need to know and our creating, our contributing your own work guide. So just click on that one, that link, to bring you to the main page. So just as what doctors have been explaining, so these are another form where we can actually go there, read through it ourselves to understand better what she was explaining to us. So this is a guide for people who wish to contribute their own work to Wikimedia Commons. It describes the requirement for the work to be included and offer advice on best practices in the wiki. So for the suggestion on making pictures, you can also come to this page and find some suggestions there. Right? Now remember, what we are doing here is being recorded. Everything we are doing here is being recorded. Right now at this, and this will be uploaded on Wikimedia on YouTube, on our channel. You can also go there and check. All the session, every highlight is being recorded, the tracks, so you can go there in case you have problem that you need to revisit. Just go there, you see the files there. Now, for you to put step one, isn't really your own work. Shall explain these things. But here's an additional explanation. Not all work you have created are actually your own work. It is true. Right? So to make sure that the work you have created is actually allowed. So there is another policy here where we can actually go there and read what work belongs to you and what is not yours. What is yours and what is not yours. Now let me give us a shocker. Do you know that if you tell a photographer to snap you, for example, now you go to a studio and you tell a photographer that you want to snap a picture, and the photographer snaps you. Now my question is, who owns the license? That's
The photograph.
photographer for the painting. It doesn't matter. The photographer owns the license, right? The fact that you went to that place and you used the device to snap, you own the license. So these are the things. Unless if you have a special need that you must tell him, okay, this image, after you snap it, you have to discuss it, you have to make it excuse. Because the photographers are protected by law too. There's a law that is protecting them. So you cannot just go because you snap your fine wedding picture and tomorrow you see it on the photographer's door and then you say you want to go and see him. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. But there is also an exception to that. We have what we call the image rights. Now, who owns the image right?
The person with me.
The person in the image. Who owns the image right? So you see, they have to synergize together. The photographer owns the license, the he snapped the picture, so he owns the license to that picture. But the image rights, he owns the image right. So you have the right to go and tell him, okay, why did you do this? But here too, you also have a way to tell you that, okay, we didn't discuss it from the beginning. At that point, you can only be compensated. You cannot do anything more than that. You can only be compensated. So I was passing by sometime and I saw a picture of somebody I know in one this cosmetic shop. And I called the lady, I said, you don't become celebrity. The picture is even somewhere here. She said, no, that she doesn't know. You know, she have to leave. We are still in school, then she have to leave school and come to that particular place. And she said, it was very fine image of herself. She said, she now went there, she wanted to create trouble. And then, I don't know the law too, as a compare like this. And me too, you know, my muscles are somehow big. So I was trying to see how we can match the muscles together to create the scene. Until somebody came and told us that it doesn't work like that. We'll see about these things. There's a way to settle it. But then, God is on my side. There's a way the Holy Spirit always whisper. Tell you, yeah, you can calm down. This is almost calm down. So I just have to calm down and tell her, okay, let's find a way to resolve this. So later she was compensated and everything good. She had to drop it. They said, no, they cannot drop it because they paid local government with this permit they have paid. So until after 6 months before they can change it. So she can only be compensated. So at that time, they would only give her small money. She left. So I didn't know about this loss then. But now that I know, I wouldn't even dare tell her, okay, you're finished. Let's go and create problem. But we can find a way to collect small change out of it, right? So all these things are a way to create awareness about all of this. So you should know that all of us that are here, you should know that you can actually go to the studio, snap your own image, and tomorrow you will see that your image somewhere. Because that person owns the license to that image. But the image right belongs to the owner whose face is to that image. There's a license to the image, but the image right belongs to you. The photograph, he owns the license to the photograph. But the right to the image belongs to you. So these are two different. They are two different. So as we continue all of this, during our curiosity, we can discover a lot about all of this. It is also a way to improve our knowledge of most of these things. Okay. So for you to know all of this, just read your own work. So this one I will provide additional information to this. Now the step 2 is it suitable here? That's the question you ask yourself. Is your file a media file? What kind of file are you uploading? You just see something. Remember, it's not what looks snappable that should be snapped. Always make sure that it makes sense and it add value to somebody or someone. I saw somebody was snapping a picture. I don't know what was that person's intention. Just the ear. And the person snapped it and do mass work with it and added that ear to the thing. I was like, is it the ear or the person you want? So I'm just trying to see the sense out of the image. So for those of us who are here, we are beginning to groom us as professional photographers, right? So for every image, there is something that let it make sense to you first as well as the place of place. So somebody will just climb by as the bike is going, phew, you know those outside Okada, phew, then you just one point, you just snap it, phew. Then if you are looking at the image, you will see that the image is like it's not clear. You understand? But you just want to snap something out of it. The question doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So we as photographers, we have to be intentional. For every image, we have to be intentional about snapping the image. We shouldn't snap something out of hurry, right? We should be intentional for everything we are doing. We have to be intentional. Give it a reason. And also angles matters. But this is not something we talk about now. Something we talk about all of that. Because we're also going to invite the different face other than the ones we are familiar with to come and train us specifically on basic photography as the course continues.
Sorry for interrupting. I don't want to forget. That's what I'm thinking about. Snapping something that makes sense. I think there are two things involved there. It could be very educational to educate people about something. It could be maybe like a form of art which has a meaning to you. Now, and we all know what artwork is. You have to explain to people what this thing is. So, do they go together, or it must be something in a particular line? Like it must be educational. You have to educate people. This thing does this for this, or it can be out of an art which is restricted to my own understanding, my own perspective, something like that.
I remember when I was explaining, I said, first of all, does it make sense to you? I was, if it makes sense to you, then it's okay. Upload it. But if it doesn't make sense to you, also remember artworks. Some of this artwork you can just go to the gallery and you see most of this artwork. It doesn't give you the right to snap those
Yes.
things. Because most of the artwork are under license. They are protected under license. Unless you get a permission from the original owner before you can snap it and upload to the Wikimedia Commons. Thank you for bringing that. So, because I know some of us like we like fine things. Just go to a gallery, you see fine things and things. Most of those things are under license. They are protected. Because most of the artwork you see, under them you see a name or a signature, right? So those are licensed. Those things are licensed. And if those things are not under free license, it doesn't work under Wikimedia Foundation projects. Because for everything under Wikimedia Foundation project is free license. So you must inquire. But then in the process of that, there's what we call the third party, which is the original owner. Does the original owner grant you permit to upload them? If yes, why? But you have to mention that it is not originally your own. So when we come back to the practical again, I will show us all these things. It's not originally your own work. So when I'm talking about the thing that doesn't make sense, just as I was explaining this thing about Okada, the cloud machine, just see something, snap, phew. The face of the person is not clear. You want to snap it, the face doesn't clear, but the statue, and somebody like this thing look like weird. Even though the face doesn't show, but you in your imagination, it looks like weird. If somebody see this image, you should know that it's weird. Because look at the shoulder now. This will make sense, then you upload. But it doesn't make sense. Because you are not intentional about it. If you are intentional at this, you can just stop and snap it. But even in that process, you can when you snap, you look at it. If it's okay. Because most of Wikimedians are always in the moves, and then we see something very catchy, and then we let it snap. So in this case, you can give it a multiple snap. Maybe you look at the one among those ones, maybe the one that make at least some level of sense. Not just copy everything and upload to comments. Remember, there's a way we can also vandalize Wikimedia Commons, right? By uploading all sort of rubbish. Those that doesn't make sense. It's a way of vandalizing the platforms. Okay, so as I was explaining, there's a campaign currently ongoing. It started yesterday called Wiki for Human Rights, right? Wiki for Human Rights campaign. It started officially yesterday. So most of this campaign, in as much as something doesn't make sense, but to some level it makes sense. Now this campaign is all about our environment, we and our environment, right? So the things that doesn't make sense in the environment, those are the things that the campaign is also looking for. Like You just go, you are moving around and you see this dumping ground, right? The dumping ground. So you snap it. Those are the things that this campaign is all about. You look at all this dumping ground. Yeah, they call it Ebola or Ebola. And you snap it and then you upload it to Wikimedia. Now, this is a way of creating awareness about because remember the United Nations, there's a fund they are funding different countries on how to sanitize the environment. So this one now will help to also let them know which environment is actually working and which one is not. So that when they meet in the G7 meeting, their own global meeting, they know how to tackle it. We are always to expose their issues. If they're not doing it right, they expose it. Right? So the campaign now is to snap all of those things out. Where there is flooding, where there is erosion, where there is something that is just natural disaster is happening. Those are the targets. Maybe you are just moving along your street and you see how the water washes the gutters. You snap that crack piece as it is like that. You upload it to the internet. So those are some of the angles as far as the Wiki for Human Rights campaign is all about. So as I mentioned this one, I see some people are looking at it. They will start they will go back now and start looking for what is not looking for them. They even talk to Baba Bola and start looking for Bola. So, so this that's why I said for things that doesn't make sense, to some level it makes sense. So the Bola itself now is a bone of contention that the Wiki for Human Rights have. Those cracks, erosions, flooding, right? Those are the things. I remember there was a flood in Kaduna recently, like last month. Is there anybody that was able to snap any of those pictures? I don't, you don't occur to now that have gone to this, because I learned that the team was very public this year in that place. A lot of houses were submerged, properties with sons and family. So it didn't occur to me, I would have carried water and well, video. You have videos. But those videos are flying online. It's the original video. You got it yourself. Then work on it now. Upload it. For that, I'm also winning your prize because there are also prizes for other business. As far as the wiki for human rights campaign is concerned, there are also prizes for the best videos and get the prize. So,
Sorry, sir.
yeah.
That the category wiki for human rights.
I think there are different communities that are making it. So maybe after this, the Wikimedia, I don't want to talk about that, but there's a campaign that will happen. There's um, a program that will happen here in Kaduna regarding that. So maybe we'll just be on the lookout for the company and be part of it. So if you have any of those things, maybe you can just hold on. Maybe when officially we started in Kaduna, then you can begin to so that is that. So now we talk about the number two, the media file. It is likely useful for Wikimedia Foundation project. So also make sure that these files are files that can be reused to Wikimedia project. You remember Wikimedia depend on the upload we are making on Wikicommons. We bring out images, good images to put on the articles that are there on Wikimedia. So we have to look for good articles or good images that can be suited to be added to an article on Wikipedia. So those are another. Now, step three now the format. Now, Commons only uses open file format. Open file format. Now, Commons the project scope allowable file types. So list which file format are accepted at Commons. Now we have the Commons software and help. Okay, if you need help converting videos, you can also find help here. Look at it here. For those of us who have videos and want to convert them. Because the video now, as you record your video, you cannot upload them to Wikimedia raw like that. You have to convert it to full license. sound, like a recording sound. So there's another format also. That one you can use the OGG. OGG. Know my own needs. So these programs which can be used to play OGG, audios and videos. So additional information regarding the video at Commons can be found at Commons at here. Now, uploading. Now, people uploading their own work can head straight to upload wizard. You need to be logged in as if you have not created an account yet. Do so now. So under the do so now, it will take you where you create your own account. For example, you just bump into this one, and you don't have an account. So under this do so now, it will take you to directly. Once you click on it, look at what opens. Look at it like this. So it will bring you here, where you can create your own account. Right? So if you are creating new account, this is where you go down here. So if you have already an account, just enter your password and you log in. But if you don't have, you come down here and create an account. So that is that about that. So remember, every image you put there, you have to describe it. Like what you are saying, the work of art. The way you see it, the way you see it is different from the way I see it. So you describe how you see it. So there's also a place that describe how you see it. So that will make the image to have more weight and make sense. Yes. So there's a place for you to describe that. So imagine someone coming across the file by pressing random. That information the person know that about that file before they can understand it. So under the description now, you can just explain it. For example, now I'm uploading myself without telling my own name, without telling who I am. But for people who know me, once they see the image, they will know that okay, this is who I am. But for those who doesn't know me, by way of describing and explaining, once they read it, they will know okay, this is what I'm talking about. So that is just that. And now look at the licenses under step 6. The licenses, let us look at them and talk about them briefly when we read. Now, we recommend you read that page at least once. If you trust your judgment, we recommend one of the following. Now, after reading all of this, we go down. Now, these are the licenses. Now, for image, audio recordings, video recordings, and brief portion of text. Most restrictive acceptable license, we have this one, CC by SA, yeah? Then a hyphen, then 4.0. This one, on-work attribution required for the use. The users must share alike version 4.0 of the Creative Commons CC by 4, okay, by SA license. So all of this, they are different things. They are different things. There are licenses that will once you put in another license, the person can